What if I told you that Lewis Hamilton's biggest enemy this season isn't Max Verstappen on track, but Ferrari itself? What happens when a 7-time world champion is asked not to adapt, but to conform? And why did Hamilton's desperate radio plea at Monaco? Are you upset with me or something? Received nothing but silence from his own team? 14 races in, and the numbers tell a brutal story. 0 podiums for Hamilton, while his teammate has 5. But according to insider sources, this isn't about adaptation time. It's about a cultural war buried deep within Maranello's walls. The official Ferrari narrative is simple. Hamilton needs time to adapt. But the data tells a completely different story. At Hungary, when Charles Leclerc's dominant pole position mysteriously faded to nothing, Ferrari blamed tire pressures and floor protection. Yet when Hamilton's race pace faltered under identical conditions, the blame fell squarely on Hamilton himself. This double standard runs deeper than PR spin. According to insider reports, Hamilton's technical requests, sharper turn-in, more aggressive brake migration, adjustments to rear stability, are being quietly resisted. In some cases, changes approved in practice sessions are mysteriously undone overnight. That's not adaptation protocol. That's politics disguised as engineering. The most telling incident came at Spa. Hamilton consistently requested adjustments to differential preload and rear suspension dampers during practice, trying to coax sharper turn-in characteristics. The responses were either delayed or quietly reversed by the next session. Sources describe this as resistance by protocol, where changes outside the established Leclerc model are considered disruptions, not improvements. But here's where it gets dangerous for Ferrari's championship hopes. You might think this is just growing pains, a legendary driver learning a new car, a proud team protecting their established methods. After all, Leclerc has been delivering consistent podiums, keeping Ferrari in the constructors' conversation. The numbers seem to justify their approach, but scratch beneath the surface, and the telemetry reveals something Ferrari doesn't want you to see. At Imola, Hamilton overtook on track without DRS assistance, pure instinct and pace. At Spa, despite running an underfueled car with a compromised setup, Hamilton managed tire degradation more effectively than anyone expected, closing gaps that should have been unbridgeable. These weren't flukes, they were warnings. Yet, according to insider sources, these flashes of brilliance are being treated as anomalies rather than evidence of untapped potential. The real problem isn't Hamilton's adaptation. It's Ferrari's refusal to adapt to Hamilton. The breaking point came at Monaco, and it wasn't about lap times. After the checkered flag, Hamilton's radio message cut through Ferrari's carefully constructed image. "Are you upset with me or something?" The silence that followed wasn't protocol, it was fracture. Ferrari team principal Fred Vasseur tried to explain it away, claiming Ferrari has a no-talk policy during certain moments. But Hamilton's words came after the flag, not during a critical phase. The silence from his race engineer Ricardo Adami wasn't incompetence, it was a signal. Compare this to Leclerc's treatment. When the Monegasque driver questions strategy calls, answers come quickly, framed as collaborative dialogue. Hamilton's queries are met with ambiguity, sarcasm, or worse, silence. In Miami, when Hamilton requested clearer information on gaps to rivals, the vague response prompted his sarcastic retort, "Do you want me to stop for a tea break?" But here's what Ferrari doesn't realize. This treatment is costing them championship points. The numbers don't lie. If Hamilton had converted just 2 of his near misses into podiums, Ferrari would be breathing down McLaren's neck for second in the Constructors' Championship. Every weekend, Ferrari splits its philosophy. They're leaving points on the table. Behind the scenes, the political battle is intensifying. Sources confirm that Leclerc has reportedly requested oversight of setup changes, not to optimize them, but to monitor how the car is evolving away from his comfort zone. This signals a driver aware of his diminishing monopoly, trying to hold ground as Hamilton's influence grows. Meanwhile, Ferrari's rivals are watching with quiet satisfaction. Red Bull sees validation of their driver car synergy model. McLaren, under Andrea Stella's leadership, has openly emphasized driver-driven development, giving both Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri significant input into setup evolution. While Ferrari debates hierarchy, McLaren accelerates through flexibility. The rest of the grid isn't blind to Ferrari's fractures. In the political theater of Formula One, perception becomes weapon. Sponsors, media, and fans amplify the narrative of a team becoming two, disguised as one. But there's a revolution happening behind Ferrari's closed doors. Sources now confirm that simulator programs run Hamilton's preferred setups in parallel with Leclerc's. Not as experiments, but as serious development paths. Tire delivery models, Hamilton requested months ago, have been implemented with immediate gains in simulator output. The most significant shift? Ricardo Adami, once viewed as firmly loyal to Leclerc, has begun pushing Hamilton's feedback harder in internal meetings. Quietly, cautiously, but unmistakably. The engineer is redistributing his trust, and that's where revolutions begin. At Monza, Ferrari's cathedral, their temple, this internal war reaches its climax. The Tifosi don't care about internal hierarchies or political protection. They care about results. And results demand clarity about who Ferrari really wants to be. A team defined by tradition and loyalty, or one willing to bend for the kind of champion who doesn't wait for systems to catch up. The data is clear. Hamilton still has the edge when circumstances align. But the question isn't whether he can adapt anymore. It's whether Ferrari can accept being changed by him. Will Adami's quiet revolution reach the pit wall? Can Ferrari maximize both drivers before the season ends? And most importantly, when performance finally forces politics to yield, will Ferrari emerge stronger for embracing change or weaker for clinging to tradition? All eyes turn to Monza, because in Formula One, silence doesn't protect systems, it exposes them. And under the weight of history and hundreds of thousands of Tifosi, Ferrari's silence will either break or bury everything they've built. What do you think? Is Hamilton fighting a losing battle, or is this the beginning of Ferrari's transformation? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more Insider F1 analysis.